This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome in, you degenerates. I am the Doc, John Macker, and joining me after a couple weeks off, my guy Phil. Had to take a vacation, had to clear the head. Oh my God. A couple 16-hour drives did wonders for the soul. Got to see the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia. Hung out on the beach of South Carolina. Bro, I never would have thought that I might leave this fine state of Michigan, but oh my God, the lifestyle of South Carolina is so slow, so peaceful. You order pizza, gets there in an hour, nobody cares, everybody was happy, everybody living on the beach. I had basically, because it was spring break and a lot of families, the beach was so vast that you could have a quarter mile of beach almost all to yourself. I got to do this vacation thing a lot more, man. It was underrated. I should have did it a lot more. But now that I'm older with kids, I think I'm going to be taking a hell of a lot more vacations, man. It was fun.
Really? No, I'll be honest. We went down there 2 years ago, and I don't know. I'll level with you. Maybe it was because it was during the summer. Probably was a little nicer, like weather-wise right now. Dude, I went to the summer. I got all messed up, man. I had to get a what are those shirts called? I can't even think of it right now. A heat guard, because I got sun poisoning.
Yes, absolutely. In April, it just was 70 and sunny, and the last day when we left, we felt the humidity on that Friday. We said, oh my God, it was 7 a.m. and it was thick. If I would have stayed in that much longer, my shirt would have stuck to my body. It was that bad, huh? It was humid and sick. Yeah, April. It's got to be April, bro. You can't go in the summer because it can probably get hot.
Yeah, you either have to go like right about now, like maybe up until like the middle of May if you're lucky. Come on. Or you got to go like in like September, October. They said during the summer it was, to
hot.
be honest with you, it was sort of filthy.
Yeah, filthy hot. Talk about filthy. You know what sucked too? To share a story. I was all excited. I'm like, all right, it's the national title game. It's the big game. Everybody's taking Baylor. This is a good number. You could see the live betting. The game starts and Baylor gets off to a good start. I finally look on the phone, hit the DraftKings, and I was able to get to the app, able to push the button, and then it popped up. It said, you are not able to bet in this fine state of South Carolina because it's not allowed. And I'm like, what? I'm like, it's a Michigan account. They know where you're from. Can't gamble in South Carolina. I messaged you. I said, bro, this is great. I got to enjoy the game. It was a blowout, but I couldn't put no action on it. So it's real interesting, the lockdown that they have in regards to online gaming. If you're not in the state where that's allowed to take place, even if it's a Michigan account, not on the Wi-Fi there, it was on my 3GE. They knew where I was. Yep. They tracked my ass down. Yeah. They tracked me down and couldn't put action to, I would have won, obviously taking Baylor and the points, but crazy that, the national title finished that way. How surprised were you Baylor won it?
Oh, I'll be honest. I didn't watch the game. I after what happened with UCLA and Gonzaga, I sort of felt something fishy was going to happen. Like, Gonzaga basically steamrolled everybody. They looked like Kentucky from what was it? Was it 16 or 17 when Kentucky did the same thing? They had that big star class of freshmen. They got all the way to the national semifinals. They steamrolled everybody, and then Wisconsin gave them the business. It looked like it was going to be the same setup for Gonzaga. I don't know what it is. Mark Few's one of those guys, once again. You know how there's coaches that can they can get them there, but they can't get the job done. Sort of like D'Antonio in the NBA. They can get teams there, they just can't finish it out. I just think that's all it comes down to, man.
Yeah, it's
like,
interesting.
I definitely think their schedule, people argue and say they're one of the best teams that they've ever seen. Schedule makes a lot of difference, man. If you're not playing anybody, like UCLA gave them all they could handle, and look how that game ended. You know what I mean? So
yeah, crazy
I guess
stuff.
It's not really that surprising.
Yeah, it's good that there's restrictions. You got to follow the law, but it looks like now New York is going to be a state soon that's going to jump on board. And little by little, I think it's going to take shape. You know, I don't know if you read, Michigan is among the leaders now of the people that are gambling on sports. And it is crazy, bro, the amount of people that are putting action down on these games. And so far, so good. You don't hear too many degenerate stories right now. People are definitely. I really love the idea of joining a Facebook group and exploring bets, exploring those who are experts like yourself, and listening to those. And what's happening now? I don't know if you've noticed a trend if you've looked at other sports, but the over in hockey is usually at 5.5. A lot of games go over. A lot of games go 4-3. 5. You can get a lot of games if you bet like 5-6 games over 5.5. You're getting good value to make some money in the world of hockey because the number of goals is just astounding.
Well, hey, that's like, I mean, and just to pivot off of that, if you look at baseball, I'll be honest, I've been doing a little better recently, playing baseball. Like they can't get the numbers right. Like and especially some of the boosts that they're giving on DraftKings, like these 25% boost, you can get a lot of these games like on the money line at plus money. And I mean, I've hit like 4 out of 5 on my last picks. And then I even gambled because Akil's been on fire. So the way Detroit, the Tigers beat up on Houston all week, I took him just to get a hit at plus like 160, and I like put $20 on it and like doubled up. I got like $40 some back.
Nice. See, and that's good advice. What kind of games caught your attention? And are you starting to watch a little more baseball because of the action?
Yeah. I'm trying to. Well, there's, you know what? I'll be honest. I just try and follow it like on the ESPN app, and just to see, game trends. Like yesterday, Cleveland and the White Sox on Thursday. All those games had gone under, so I took a look. They were in the second inning. It was like 1-0 Chicago. So I bet it under, and I got they gave a 42% boost because of Jackie Robinson Day. So I got it once again at like plus, I don't know, like 160 or something. So I put 20 on it, and it stayed under 7.5. So I hit that. Like, I don't think they really know. Baseball's really, really hard. I think that probably might be one of the hardest things to predict, because if you go in and look, like, you can get most of the numbers for players are over under a half. Like, so if you catch one guy like at half a hit, like I know, like it's like they're batting 300 or less and whatnot, but if you catch somebody that's streaky, like I said, Badu's been on fire for the Tigers, you try and ride him out for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And, a little bit of interesting, too, with the Pistons and Wings and Tigers, a little bit of action. So now turning our attention to the NFL. It's interesting. Right around, I find it interesting that these companies put out win totals for the National Football League before the draft. Are people that, and maybe I'll get your sense of it, are people that much, excited to put down some action? You look at it now, and you look at some of the big betting sites, they're putting the Detroit Lions at having 5 wins or 5.5. But this is prior to the draft. I mean, what if for example, what if the Lions make a blockbuster move and they package 4 of their first round picks and move up and get Zach Wilson, or somehow or another make a move and, just hypothetical here, they move up to 1 and get Trevor Lawrence. You don't think that potentially gets you to 7? So people are putting action down at 5.5 before the draft. And I'm curious your sense of that and the number, because I think the number is fair to go over at 6 and 11.
Well, so here's the thing. Let's take a look recently at just these like last 3 draft classes, okay? And let's just look at like the top 10 picks. Has there been anyone that's made that big of a difference to a team in the top 10 that's really going to generate that many wins above, like, how baseball's got their wins above average ratio or whatnot? Like, do you see any of those kids coming into their positions? Like for Jacksonville, I understand Jacksonville's retooling their offense. They got Urban Meyer, and they're going to get Trevor Lawrence. So let's assume that their win totals at like, I don't know, maybe say 4 or 4.5 or something. Do you really think that just how you've seen rookies come in, especially rookie quarterbacks that are starting, do you see him coming in, even though he's a great talent, he was a great talent in college, do you see him being that impactful that whatever their win total was before the draft is going to change that significantly? I mean, that's why I think it's pretty easy. Like, to be honest, and this is not because I'm a huge fan, but the only guy that I can really think of making a huge impact as a first rounder on a team's win total is Lamar. If you look at the Ravens, the year that they drafted him, they had Flacco, and basically they were dead to rights until they made that change to him. Like, he would be the only player that I can recall coming in, maybe Ezekiel Elliott, like coming in and having that great of an impact. But we're talking 2 guys now out of 160 in the last 5 years. So, I mean, that's pretty insignificant in my mind. So I can totally understand why they would put those numbers out. Plus, I mean, look, with the Lions are going through a regime change, and we all don't think, I mean, personally, I don't know what this Campbell is going to do, but I don't think they're going to be that great under him. You know what I mean? I know it looks like they've made a lot of big moves with Holmes as a GM, but I don't see it being that impactful that it's going to like drive their win total up by 2 or 3 games.
Okay, it's interesting because many people believe that obviously the Lions got worse when you move on from Stafford, you move on from Kenny Galladay, and you replace them with people that are maybe not as good. But I do think that if they can gather up enough talent in the draft, just 3 more impactful players with a new coaching staff, I think getting 6 wins in a league. But you look at that schedule, bro, it is brutal. I could see that. That's why the number's so juicy at 5.5. If you can get it, I don't know. It's a tough bet. I guess most people now will probably go under.
Yeah, hey, like, for real, let's be honest. The only game, because I know they're playing the AFC North just because Baltimore's going to be here. Yep. So let's level. What team out of the AFC North can they realistically right now compete with? Cincinnati? And you know what? And to be honest with you, if Burrow's healthy, Cincinnati's not going to be that bad. Cincinnati's just sort of screwed because their division's so tough. I mean, shit, dude, I'll be honest with you. Right now, if I had to pick a winner of the AFC North, I'd probably go with Cleveland. That's serious. Yeah. Hey, if you just look what Cleveland's GM, he has done a great job of retooling the entire organization. Baker, they did the right thing by not making Baker do too much. They've got 2 great running backs. They've done enough to their offense, and their defense is pretty legit now. Like, I don't see Ben, for whatever reason, Ben's not going to get it done. So this should be his last year. And the Ravens didn't do what they needed to do by getting some wide receiver help for Lamar. So, I mean, I would have to take Cleveland right now if I'm betting to win the AFC North. I know it's crazy, but like, you got to take a look at where, like, Green Bay is going to kill us. Minnesota, I mean, Kirk Cousins is way overpaid, but they still could be all right. They're not that bad. They're not as bad as they were last year. And then Chicago, well, Chicago's probably might be a worse organization than we are. So, I mean, we might have a chance there, but
I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be fun. And betcha the with 17 games, the number might hit exactly where if you got lucky and got it at 5.5, you're going to do okay because of the fact that I think that if 5 and 12 could be really realistic in regards to what's going on. Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah, that is totally realistic. And the way the Lions play as it is, like, there's some games that they shouldn't be in that they're going to be in, and there's some games where they shouldn't have a chance that they should win that they're going to get blown out. So, I mean, I think that getting to 5 wins shouldn't be too big of a problem. So I still think that Stafford got the better end of the deal. I bet them last year as soon as that trade went down to win the conference.
Yeah, so it's real cool in regards to seeing, the bets coming up now and seeing how, the NFL is going to start their season now, potentially again with no off-season work in person. So it's going to be interesting because, and I don't know if you know, they did the stats. The numbers showed that off-season virtual work was okay. The numbers did not go drastically down. They actually, some numbers, some stats went up. So it's really interesting that the virtual work, and now a lot of teams like the Lions and Seattle and things like that, they just said, look, we don't know if it's safe yet. We're not going to come back. So I wonder how much that impacts. I think it impacts rookies a lot more than the veterans. But the NFL pushed back a little bit and said, okay, fine, off-season workouts in terms of voluntary, you don't have to worry about. But once we hit mandatory stuff, you got to show up. So we'll see how the NFL responds to that. So you've been playing online at all? Any online poker? Any tournaments coming up online? Anything good and juicy happening in the world of Poker Stars?
No, like I said, I'll be honest. I've been playing live. I had been playing live a little bit, and then I've been playing online, and I sort of got to a point where it's like fortunately I was only in for $20, and I just kept yo-yoing up and down in between like 100 to 0, and I'm just at the point now where if I really, really want to play competitively, I need two things. Number one, I have to take time to actually study, like put in some time to study hand ranges, and I need a HUD. Like I've got to be able to see what people are doing, like on these tables, like what their actions are pre-flop, raising wise, folding wise. Like I know one of my buddies, you know Jay. Jay hasn't bought in for anything, and he's up 1,200. Like he won a free roll. He's final tabled some small events, but he's taking the free roll money and turned it into $1,200 in just a couple months. But he got one of those HUDs, and he said it's made a huge difference on the way he goes about attacking certain players and whatnot. So I really stopped playing after a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so any tips that you learned from what you just said in regards to his strategy?
Yeah, to be honest with you, there's really minimal bluffing that you can take in the early to middle stages of the tournament. You got to try to be as patient as possible and play as straight up as you can. If you can make there's going to be some spots where you're going to have some weak holdings, but you make top pair. In a lot of instances, you're going to be facing a lot of aggression against some overcards and open-ended straight draws. I've seen that a lot where you can call down with top pair 3 streets after them making pretty large size bets, and they really have nothing. They're just trying to be a little more aggressive than they should be in certain spots. So just try and play straight up in the early middle stages. And then the HUD would definitely help when you get to the later stages, because then you can start picking and choosing the spots where you want to, if you're 13 handed or something, and they're playing down to the final table, and you got a spot where you got queen 8 suited on the button or something, and you face an open, you might be able to given your image and whatnot, and that player's opening percentage, you might be able to play back at them in some spots. So I definitely think a HUD would be super beneficial, especially to someone that knows the game. They're familiar with a lot of the elementary stuff, but their 3 betting, 4 betting ranges is where they get into some issues, and they might be calling a lot. So those are things I would take a look at.
Nice. Very good. Very solid advice. Very sound advice. Yeah, you can't bluff. And I think it's very standard sometimes that playing straight up is not a bad strategy, in that a lot of people call down a lot more than they should. They don't understand value and things like that. A lot of people are going to chase all the way down to the river. And so you want to play basically the basic sound strategy is, you can run a bluff against someone that actually thinks the game. So you actually want to bluff the better players. And so you can identify that by observing and paying attention and really watching the first few rounds and really being focused. And that's number one thing with gambling as well, is you got to pay attention to trends. You got to pay attention to what's going on. The NBA is a little bit, was soft this week in regards to a lot of the action, but I found it interesting in regards to the Warriors, man. They've been playing well, hurting some teams.
Yeah. I mean, they've been playing pretty good. to go the other end, you just talk about a team that's been playing terrible is the Thunder, dude. Like you basically, you see Detroit's playing them tonight and Detroit's only spotting them 3. Detroit should win that by at least at least 10, if not more. That's how bad the Thunder have been playing. So, I mean, if you want to talk about some value picks outside of like, the favorites like Golden State and whatnot, take a look at anybody playing the Thunder. And if you can get them for where they're giving up single digits, that's usually a good value, man.
Okay, you like the Pistons tonight, huh? You like what they've been doing? You like what you're seeing from Killian Hayes? What do you like about the Pistons and what they're doing?
I'll be completely honest with you. It's not that I like what the Pistons are doing. It's what the Thunder aren't doing. The Thunder just they're not showing up at all. Like it's just I can't even think off the top of my head, but I know that they've lost almost every game within the last 2 weeks by double digits.
Oh wow! So it's really been that bad?
Oh yeah, it's like the games aren't even close. Like they're just getting blown out of the water. I mean, so like I seen Detroit, I seen Detroit at -3. I'm like, dude, is this right? I'm like, I got to take a look at the injury report and see if the Pistons got someone like they got a couple injuries or whatnot. But -3 is way too good. Shit, look how they played the Clippers a couple days ago, man.
Yeah.
Like, and they're only giving the Thunder are in full on tank mode, dude. I mean, it's crazy. So as long as there's nobody big missing, that might be an easy bet to take today.
Okay, and then the other bit of news that's big in the world of sports is that finally the National Football League has struck a deal, multi-year deal, with official sports bettors set to add pregame betting content. For the first time, the league will have official betting partners starting in 2021. And to read it here, it says a number of NFL teams, like professional franchises and other leagues, had already partnered with companies for official sports betting cooperation. But in a multi-year deal with Caesars, DraftKings and FanDuel will have the opportunity to have exclusive access to NFL content like logos, highlights, and trademarks, as well as opportunities to integrate their own content into NFL media properties like NFL.com and the NFL app. So what's going to mean is that they're going to be able to have highlights on these apps, footage, next-gen stats, and FanDuel is going to work with the NFL on pregame integration opportunities on NFL Network for the 7 regular season games that are going to air in 2021. So there's going to be an amazing opportunity now to have an even more expansive look at gaming, gambling, odds with the NFL. And it made sense. Baseball did it. Pistons, Wings, Tigers have all formulated a relationship with these gaming sites. And now you see it with the National Football League. And it just makes sense because it's the most heavily bet on sport that is out there. And so to tailor it for those that partake in the hobby, I think it's just going to be a good thing.
Yeah, you know what, dude? I mean, well, we were just talking earlier about them putting out win totals already. Football's the thing, man. I mean, there's a lot of diehard baseball fans that are going to be watching all summer, and you got your basketball and hockey fans. But let's be honest, dude, football has been the sport for the last 10, 15 years, I would say, just given the way that the organization's been run. There haven't been any work stoppages, things of that nature. Like football's the thing, and it generates a lot of betting and a lot of revenue. So, I mean, you're right, dude. It just did make sense that they get something done and do it officially so that they can capitalize on the growth opportunities right now.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It was good, too. I think that they got in at the right time to work out any kinks. The app is doing very well. I think the promotions are still excellent, and it's still fun to do and to engage in the world of sports in that regard. So most of the time now, your action is a little bit dabbling in the NBA, a little bit in Major League Baseball. Are you looking at hockey in the overs or anything like that in regards to
Capitals?
The Capitals. What do you like? To win it?
Yeah.
To win it all?
No. Yeah, I did. No, for the most part, the Capitals have been doing me pretty well. So depending on who they're playing, I don't know. I don't understand why they can't beat fucking Buffalo, which just absolutely amazes me. But I've been trying to go with the Capitals whenever they're playing. So they got the Flyers on Saturday, 12:30. So that might be something depending on that line. I'd definitely take a look at taking them on the money line.
Okay. You hear the news about MMA? I thought I saw the announcement: Poirier versus the fight number 3 versus Conor McGregor. Number 3. That was tough because Dustin P got the good money at plus 250 for the last time. I kind of has a feel of a setup here. If Dustin P is probably going to be a slight favorite, do you still put your money back on that guy to win the third round? You still go with Conor McGregor?
I didn't go with Conor in the second one, dude. I told you that. I didn't trust it. I didn't trust it because he hadn't been training. If he's been training, I'll be honest with you. I don't think Dustin's got a chance. If Conor's been training and doing what he's supposed to do, and he's not dicking around, when he is in fight shape and he's fight ready, he's just a very tough opponent. And if he comes in like he's supposed to and he's ready, that fight could very seriously end in the first round.
Really? You turn it around. So you're going to pay attention to his training, and I can't wait to see the odds. Where do you think the odds open up as? Are they open yet? You know?
No, I don't. I just seen it come out a couple days ago. I'm sure there's something out there, but I'd have to fish around. To be honest with you, I mean, that's what's hard about MMA. Like I couldn't see like.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm at sportsbettingdime.com. Updated odds for Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 3 after fight confirmed. Let's see here. Conor McGregor will have a trilogy. The first 2 met. Right now, it's even. Odds at DraftKings: Conor McGregor minus 110, Dustin P minus 110.
Yep, and that's probably about right. I mean, just because of what went down, but. If there's any kind of boost or something, I definitely keep an eye on it and try and boost. I think McGregor, Lee said, McGregor, when he's in shape and he's not dicking around, like he had no business fighting Mayweather. That was just a money grab. That was easy money. Everybody and their mom should have bet on Mayweather. I really think that he was not ready after all the time he took off against Poirer early in this year. So I thought that was a really easy bet to take Dustin there because you've got to be in shape, man. This isn't a fucking joke, dude. Like you're going in there to try and hurt somebody and knock them out. Like you can't go in there and like talk about drinking your whiskey and bullshit, man. You've got to get down to business. So
okay, let's take a look at the card and the slate for Friday, April 16th in the NBA. Are there any games that you think have value in regards to Utah, Indiana, New Orleans, Washington, Detroit, Oklahoma City? I think you said right now it's Detroit minus 7.5. Do you have any plays there in regards to that and anything else that you see as potentially being good? Charlotte plus 12 against Brooklyn is a big spread there, and Indiana plus 10.5. Utah trying to handle their business at home. Anything that you like on Friday's card action?
Yeah, I've got, like I said, Detroit minus 3 right now is nice. I've got it on DraftKings right now. Minus 3 is like way too much. I'm going to go and try and take a look at the injury scenario.
Yeah. That's what it opened at. Yeah. Sorry. It says open.
And then take a look at Toronto and Orlando. Toronto's only minus 2.5, and Orlando's in pretty bad shape, especially since they got rid of Vujacic. So that would be something to keep an eye on. I want to take a look at that. But that Houston-Denver game could be interesting, like especially with Jamal Murray being out and Houston's getting 8.5. But like you said, I would definitely be looking at Detroit and then
so safety on the safe side with the
Detroit.
Odds. Yeah, to take Detroit on the money line. You think take Detroit on the money line and be safe with it?
No, I'm taking a minus 3. They should cover that soft.
Okay.
If they're healthy.
Okay, that's the play. Take Detroit. One of the rare times he's going to give you a play with a home team and almost a guarantee. We shall see how this goes. Detroit minus 3 against Oklahoma City tonight.
John, hold on 1 second. I just got 100% profit boost on DraftKings right now.
Right now, okay. To do what? For that? For any bet?
Any bet, 100% profit boost.
Wow! So you're gonna lay it? You're gonna even lay it on this game? Detroit minus 3?
Yeah, Detroit. I get them at plus 180 now, and I can bet up to $50.
Well, how much are you gonna put on it?
I'm gonna after we get off the phone, I'm gonna go and take a look real quick at the starting lineup and the injury report. But That's way too juicy right now, dude.
Okay, thank you. It comes out in a couple hours. I can't wait to air it out and see what happens. Make sure you follow the network at Detroit Podcast. Make sure you let us know your great wins, any great gaming stories. Make sure you bet responsibly. And if you have a problem, please back away from the apps, back away from your phone. Only bet responsibly. Use it for entertainment. And like always, what Phil says is for entertainment purposes only. But if you do follow him, you do win.
Johnny, real quick, hammer the over. Detroit, Washington. It's down to 100 points, I believe.
Okay, Detroit. When's that?
Detroit, Washington. It's at 106 right now. Bet every 400 bettors you get to bet up to $25. It goes down a point.
All right,
it's at 106 right now.
Okay, so bet it, get in, basically that's a free win then. Basically,
yeah, that's a free win.
Free win. Okay, DraftKings. Bet definitely. I'm gonna get in on that. Thank you so much. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to the Detroit Sports Podcast. Want to bet every Friday. Thanks, Phil.
Johnny, be good, buddy.